welcome to the Friday Show. The Friday Show, the Fun Time Friday Show. I don't know what I'm saying. It's just that on most Thursday nights, I host a hangout, and it goes late. I have a couple drinks, so the next Friday, I usually don't do the news. It's just the interview, and the Friday Show usually has a lot of laughs because Christian and Ophira are joining me, but they couldn't join me this week. We couldn't get it together schedule-wise. But you know who did? And we had a lot of laughs. The ladies of the Hue are back. They joined me today. I put out the Hue light. It's like the bat light. Basically, I send them all a text and say, can you join me? And they did. It was awesome. And I think you will love our hour-long meandering conversation where we cover some lighter subjects and some very heavy subjects, have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun at each other's expense as well. Kimberly, Vikki, Karen, and Francis are back, and they are as awesome as always. I've got no news clips again. This week has been just crap for me, work-wise, podcast-wise. I've had some great interviews that I posted, but I didn't do the extras, and I didn't get them out on time. And so for me, the threshold is higher than that. And those of you that have certain expectations at certain times, I don't blame you, and I try to meet those every day. But this week was birthday week for one. Both Julia and Val celebrated their birthdays on the 27th, 29th, and we had a lot of fun, but there were several distractions and tangents that I went on this week, including I built a new mailbox structure. It was so beautiful that I had a hard time being in the studio, in the shed, as much as I love it. It was so beautiful this week, and I had so many different weird things going on, but I'll get back on it hopefully next week. As a matter of fact, usually when I feel like I've let down my own expectations, I come back pretty strong in terms of guests and production for the next week. So you can bet that next week is going to be a whole bunch of really great shows. Thank you to all of the listeners who have been contributing and helping. Obviously, Jon Carroll and Pete Coe, but now Maddie Carlson, Barry Hummel, Tina Winsett, and so many more that want to join the street team. We'll be meeting today, as a matter of fact, and then there'll be a hangout tonight. At 8 Eastern. I'll host it from 8 to 10 East tonight, but I got to be out of 10 sharp because then I sign in to the News Nation Network panel show that I do almost every Friday night at 10 p.m. So I'll be doing that tonight. But if you're a subscriber, I hope that you will join us. You'll get an email with the link this morning, along with the show, a vitamin N picture. Send your nature pictures, by the way, and more. So sign up now. Go to standupwithpete.com. Standupwithpete.com to support the show with a paid subscription. And welcome to Robert Jackson, new subscriber. I just saw that this morning coming in as I'm talking. Robert, welcome. Hope to see you guys at tonight's hangout at 8 p.m. If you're just a listener and not a subscriber, then you can't come to the hangout. So sign up now because the hangout is one of the best parts of the show. Really, it's become that way every Thursday at 8 p.m., but this week, Friday. All right, well, let's get to my conversation with the ladies, shall we? Over the past 3 years now, it's almost the 3-year anniversary of the podcast launching. I've been hosting a virtual hangout for most of that time. I think I started in around the time the pandemic started, March 2020, so we could make new connections and support each other, try to share resources and coping skills and commiserate and make new friends. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years. And during that time, we've had so many people gel with each other, become friends with each other, start to understand each other's personalities and so on. I thought it would be a really interesting thing to get these ladies together. This is our third time. They're 4 black women who are very different, thus proving what you always hear when we're talking about issues regarding ethnicity. Blank group of people are not monolithic. Well, black women are not monolithic, but these women are all one thing: hilarious and brilliant. So 2 things. And even more, they're thoughtful, they're giving, they're empathic, they're super hardworking, successful, and they've seen a lot in life. And they're always happy to be honest and share and transparent and be vulnerable. And they've been friends and mentors to me. And we do this thing. It's called The Hue. It's still developing. It's always fun. And today's conversation, we had lighter subjects, starting with fall traditions, autumn traditions, where they all made fun of me for loving the idea of apple bobbing. And we ended with how you change your bedding headed into a new season. Do you change your sheets and comforter, etc.? Electric blanket conversation. And in between that, we talked about Brett Favre, the latest Trump scandals, and so much more. Always a great conversation with Francis, Vikki, Karen and Kimberly, and you can learn more about them in the show notes. You go to the show notes, you should follow them on Twitter, and they're often all at the Hangouts. Hopefully some or all of them will be there tonight, and you can say hi and thank them for joining me here on today's show. So let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for The Hue. This time of year, it's autumn, and I wondered if any of you... I wanted to talk with you guys just about like your feelings and memories and traditions. And I wanted to start because when I threw it in the chat earlier, it seemed like there was a lot of negative reaction to a thing that I loved to do growing up. We did at my birthday a few years. We did apple bobbing, Kimberly, and I think that you were a little bit negative about that activity. What are your thoughts on?
First of all, the last time I did apple bobbing, I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned about germs and thinking about the fact that you're trying to put your teeth on an apple that someone else is trying to grab.
Yeah.
It's no different than you drinking after somebody, which is nasty, especially when you don't have any relationship with them.
Well, do you?
And now with COVID and monkeypox, I'm not sharing spit water with anybody.
Okay. Spit water. It's a bin. It's a large bin. There's several apples. You probably wouldn't go for an apple that somebody'd already gone for, just to be clear.
How would you know?
Because you spin it.
Because your face is in the water.
They start tumbling around. That's part of the problem. Yeah.
There's no not knowing if you share it. It's like Eskimo brothers. You don't know.
So
unless
nobody.
you get the teeth marks.
And it was gross going in, right? Like, kids are snotty and wiping their nose with their hands.
I remember when I last did it. I do remember. It was at my grade school. It was the last Halloween party I attended. And it was a blast. And I remember bobbing for apples. It was a great time. I was 8, Pete, not 48.
Well, who else has thoughts on this? Is really I'm surprised by the reaction here. I think it's all good fun. I think you're getting a little bit, but Vikki, Francis, apple bobbing, no.
Apples is a definite no. It's always been a no.
Wow.
My mother would never have allowed it at any age.
What do you mean?
No, she no,
just no. Yeah, that's something I had to sneak to do.
You want to do that? No.
Yeah.
Go
Number
on over
one,
there.
We're going to get our hair messed up, and you're going to come home with your hair messed up, and your mother is going to...
Oh.
She is going to be so angry because, especially if it was a Monday, because on Sunday, she had taken the hot comb and the grease and pressed your hair out, and your hair was all good, and we know water was the devil.
Yeah.
Were you dunking your head in the thing?
I did at some level.
Yeah.
If you're if you're going for it and you want to win.
Well, you got to have your hands behind your back. So what I would do is I'd dunk my head in and I'd force the apple to the bottom so that I could trap it in my mouth, and then I would be able to get it, and then I would take it out.
And so you're spit and face germs and hair germs
and nose germs.
Oh my gosh, hair grease. That pink stuff.
It's gross. It's hurting my stomach. I have stomach issues today, and this is bothering me.
This is worse than eating pumpkin pie.
Oh, wow. So we might have another shots fired. She said, Kimberly just said, is worse than eating pumpkin pie. I love everything pumpkin. Is anybody else going to reject pumpkin pie? No, we all.
Yes.
So I can eat a little pumpkin. Like, I like the pumpkin loaf. I think it's at Starbucks.
Okay. I mean, it's not just at Starbucks.
But, I mean, I think that's where I had it, sir. I'm not baking it, so, I mean, we know I'm buying it somewhere. Let's just know your audience. But, like, getting into this whole pumpkin spice thing, like, we were still celebrating my birthday that I forced upon all of you. And then pumpkin spice was out. I was like, I still have cake remnants on my face, and it's pumpkin spice. I think it's excessive.
Wow.
Someone lied to me and told me pumpkin pie tastes just like sweet potato pie.
They lied.
And then I ate it and I spit it out and never liked it since.
Oh, wow.
They lied. Yeah.
Wow.
I see them being a part of the same family.
They are part of the same family, Francis. You're right.
They're different.
But
be different.
Pumpkin pie just does not get you there.
There's a texture. They're like, I know they're both soft, but there's a texture difference.
Well, pumpkin is like a big deal in my region because the community next door to me is like the world's largest producer of pumpkin something. And I'm just not really interested. But pumpkins are all around here. It stinks because of pumpkins. Because they have to fertilize the pumpkins.
Seeds, though. I like pumpkin seeds.
I do too. I like pumpkin seeds.
What's the point of them? Can you eat the whole thing, or do you have to spit out a part of it?
No, really? You've never?
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, I've tried them. I just don't remember.
Yeah, you eat the whole seed. You don't spit anything out. You eat that whole. It's delicious. You put a little butter and salt and cook.
What?
You don't like Halloween.
What are you talking about, Pete? With butter?
Pumpkin seeds.
Buttered butter?
Seeds. Put butter?
You could cook them different ways. My mom put butter on them and then salted them. Yeah.
Cook pumpkin seeds?
You roast them. Like when you would.
You don't cook them?
When you carve your jack.
And this is why he's so here, because he was off.
We know where I grew up. So when you carved your pumpkins, you would save the stuff and then clean it and then roast them, put them in the oven.
So much work. I just throw all that jazz
in the garbage,
in the trash, seeds, strings.
No, you buy the pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, and they're roasted. They're not straight.
It's like sunflower seeds.
We wouldn't do it today. Hey, I want pumpkin seeds. Let me go get a pumpkin.
No, pumpkin seed.
Well, yeah, you are going to do that. It's as if you people.
Oops.
You people.
Who are you talking to?
It's
an anti-pumpkin lobby.
It's as if you people don't have seasonal heart, like a seasonal thing. Like
I do, but it's just ain't around this time of year.
What do you do this time of year?
Try to avoid people because they're going to start begging me for candy in a couple of minutes.
I don't like the transition from summer to fall.
Really?
I don't. I love summer. I love the beach. I love flip-flops. I love the whole thing. And then I live in my building. I own my condo, but they control the heat. So there's always this funky little time in autumn where it's kind of cold and you might have turned on your heat a little bit just to take the chill off, but I can't. So I live like an Eskimo for a couple of weeks unless it gets really cold. And I don't live in the front of the building. I live in the back. So then I'll be in here this is some BS under the covers, getting seasonal affective disorder on September 22nd. It's a little too much.
Don't worry. I have the same feeling. I control my own heat, but I got to wait because, that stuff's expensive. I'm under covers right there with you.
I hear you.
I get your point, though. I love the weather. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful seasonal transition if we have it. Now, climate change may change that. But the rituals, the norms that come along with it, I can do without.
Oh, wow.
And I am not one that celebrates Halloween. I am not one that celebrates the fall solstice or whatever the heck y'all have. I am not the one to do anything until Christmas. So it's like I'm just patiently waiting for Christmas.
You're leaving all that joy on the table. There's so much fun to be had.
I love Christmas.
I can't believe you're skipping Halloween. You skip Halloween. Where are we all on the inflatables? Because they're out. I saw a deflated pumpkin. I sent out a picture of it to everybody. And that really...
You deflate it.
I did not.
It didn't come alive yet.
I'm not.
Yeah,
it's just like the night fun.
Right. Because it's expensive. Electricity is expensive.
Ridiculous.
Isn't everything now?
It's like for Christmas, it makes sense. For Halloween, it don't make sense.
You're killing my Halloween spirit. I am a Halloween whore.
Do you?
I am so, yes.
What do you like?
I go.
I mean, Pete's birthday is around that time.
Yeah, Halloween itself.
Is Halloween.
He is the Halloween.
Oh, I thought it was the 30th. I'm sorry.
He's the pumpkin king.
Yep.
You know what? Don't worry.
That jack-o'-lantern.
My friend twins' birthday's on Halloween.
My ex-boyfriend his birthday's the 30th is our Halloween, and he sucks.
Oh.
See, there might be some bias here then.
That could maybe maybe associated with him.
I would not be opposed to fessing up to that.
But hold on, Francis, what do you like?
I love everything. If anybody knows me well, they know that I'm the type of person that just loves to dress up. So like every year it's thinking about what's my costume going to be, how am I going to pull it off. For 2020, I was like, I got to build in a mask. We got to be smart about this. So with Sister Night, which was relevant to what was going on at the time. She was a character from Watchmen, which was on HBO, and she's a nun. And so she had a mask on and everything. Dope ass outfit, fights crime. Let's go.
What do you think?
She was a nun?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was supposed to be her outfit. I just figured she was just dressed up in ninja gear. Okay.
Yeah.
Kimberly,
she had like a rosary that was hanging off her side.
I'm just realizing she was a nun. Lord, I'm
today years old.
Well, what would it take, Kimberly, to get you in a costume for some type of a party? Nothing. Won't do it. Will not put on a costume.
Dress party?
Okay.
No, I avoid. I mean, the last Halloween party I went to was at a museum to take my cousin to the museum when he was younger. And he was dressed up as a Ninja Turtle, I think. And I had on a T-shirt that says, "Leave me alone."
I once dressed up when I was like mid-20s as Batman. I was usually Batman, so I was wearing tights. And we went to this costume party. But then after, we went to a bar. We're in Boston. And at the bar, nobody was in costume. And I was just in tights at a bar. And I couldn't take it. And I left. I was like, I can't be here. This is weird.
I blame my mom. You know what? I blame my mom because I'm going to say this is childhood trauma. Because the last costume I remember I dressed up as, I was in a garbage. I remember being in a black garbage bag. I don't know what I was dressed up as, but it was something in a garbage bag. But
I'm sorry.
That's what my friend did that last year. She was a raccoon. She had like raccoon makeup and then was wearing a trash bag.
Kimberly, was your costume garbage?
Couture.
Were you a garbage can? Was that your costume? She was a trash can.
But it was always cold. So you would get your costume and Rhode Island's winter starts on September 24th.
Yeah.
Because you get 2 days of fall. And then it would jack up your entire bow. And it'd be like, no, I don't want to wear my coat. And they'd be like, you can't win that argument. And it would suck.
Well, how about this, Kimberly? You're a new homeowner. Are you having to deal with the leaves or any autumn-related maintenance? Because I remember when we first moved to
don't want to even. I cut down 9 trees.
Look, what? God, good Lord, what is wrong with you?
2 weeks ago.
What are you, a Coke brother?
So 2 weeks ago, no. I wish I could show you my phone because the person who sold me the house, who clearly had some ties to some religious affiliation, was supposed to be godly, is not godly because someone decided on Google Maps to hide masks, not the house, because that's what you go on Google Maps, you see people mask their houses. No, they masked the tree because it was dead. And they did not want you to see that the tree was dead.
What?
And yes. So they knew, the homeowner prior to me, the buyer, knew that it was a dead tree that was going to be an expensive dead tree to take down and decided to hide it in Google Maps. So you couldn't see the dead tree in Google Maps. And they masked it. They didn't mask the house. They didn't mask the car. They masked the tree.
I didn't even know you could do that, much less spend time and resources masking a tree.
So I'm trying to get a fence installed. And I happened to go to a restaurant and I see a card that said, hey, we do fences. I was like, oh, cool, I'll call this person. The guy came out. He's like, oh, by the way, I have a brother that cuts trees down. I said, really? So he texts his brother. His brother comes over. I'm at work at a city council meeting, bored out my mind. And the guy is in the backyard looking at my trees. And I just said, be careful because you are a Mexican. That's who he is. He's Mexican. He identified. And I said, I just want you to be careful because in my neighborhood, ain't too many people of color. And you roaming in the backyard, they might call police on you. So keep me on the phone just in case. long story short, he gave me a good price and he cut down on my trees the next day.
Hey,
it was okay.
Yeah.
Do you have firewood? Do you have a fireplace? Do you have firewood now?
I do have firewood, but I gave it to my neighbors because I personally am never going to actually do anything with that wood. And honestly, I just want it off my property. And my neighbors is gladly to take it. So
that's nice.
So Pete, has your brain exploded that trees were cut down?
It was a dead tree. It was dead trees.
The Lorax over here.
Well, the trees were dead.
I'm having trees cut down as well, Kimberly, because we want to put up the solar panels.
Well, that makes sense.
And we have a line of trees that block the sun.
Yeah, I don't want to put any solar panels. I just wanted to have sun in the backyard again.
Well, that's going to save you a lot of leaf removal because this time of year, that's what I was getting at. We have a lot of trees and a lot of leaves as well. Would you, if there were a pile of leaves, who here would go ahead and have some fun and jump into a pile of leaves? Did you do that when you were a little girl? And nobody wants to have any fun at all here. Wow.
No, again, it's in the hair. So a lot of it has to do with what gets in my head, and I don't want stuff in my hair. Plus, I was one of those kids, I don't want to get dirty.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't want any of that.
Underneath that? Ew. And what critters in there?
Critters.
There's no
But don't even, I don't know about you. I don't know how you collect your leaves, but I have to rake leaves.
Yeah.
And so that's work.
You rake a pile of leaves and then you run and you jump into them.
And then have to re-rake them again.
A little bit, maybe, but then it's fun.
Have you seen me? I am not a little bit.
Shut up, Kim.
I'm just saying.
It's how you said it, though. It's how you said it, Kim.
Don't think that matters. Not sure. Don't believe you do your own raking either. All right.
I do actually rake. I have a little thing that helps me put it into the.
Oh God, no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But Kim, I feel you because guess what? I was this height. I think at 10, I was like 5'5", 125. So like, I was no little girl. Like, I'm not just no. No, it's just a no. Just like you can't. And I don't think we really had trees like that. We didn't have the trees with leaves.
All right, well.
What kind of trees did you have? Trees didn't have leaves.
Like the trees. Pile of leaves trees.
Oh, I did.
Like maybe she just said deciduous. Assiduous. So which one is the?
Deciduous.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So what do you got, Francis?
Corn maze.
Oh, yes.
Who does corn mazes? I like a good corn maze.
We know.
Challenge.
We know.
You know what fall was for me? Yeah, corn maze. No, like
say, what? This is where we can say blackness is a culture because at the end of the day,
we are not a monolith.
We are not a monolith because there's no way my black ass is going to be in nobody's maze in the middle of a cornfield. Just ain't happening.
I mean, you always got your plans. Like you watch enough scary movies to know where to run if shit goes down. I have plans.
Where is the corn? Like, where does one find a corn maze?
Down the street. I got one down the street.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, fall was soccer season. Like, I played soccer until I was 21 years old. So, I'm not playing in the leaves.
What about your teammates and going to like the scary haunted houses or something like that?
Do you think
on the weekend?
I used to go to, last time I went to a scary haunted house, it was like an extravaganza. We went all over Northern Illinois, going to Wisconsin and other places. And at some point, someone said I was not allowed to be in front of the group because I was the person that was done in like 5 seconds. I was running like, come out of any hiding place. And if I saw you, you will get cut. And so I guess it was supposed to be an experience where I was supposed to be slow and like enjoy it all and be happy. And I was just like, this is for white people because they have this privilege to be scared. I live scared. I don't need to go to a haunted house.
So you're saying
paying for it.
It sounds like a lot of these. Well, let's just go back to the corn maze.
There's a lot of trauma in this conversation.
Let's let's say
I relate, though.
Let's say we all get together this weekend, and Frances says we're going the corn maze, and we get there, and there's Frances, and she's at the beginning of the corn maze. Do we go? Do you all go in with her?
What time of day is it? Is it anywhere near light? Do I have some sort of weapon or a purse that I can at least hit the monster with?
There's no...
That's assault. You can't be hitting
monsters. It's just a corn.
If they attack me, though, I'm saying...
If it's like a real attack, if like we end up at a scary
in my mind, the corn maze is like it's a movie, and Freddy Krueger's going to come out and get me. I
don't know if a purse would help.
No,
I mean, since I have a gun with no ammo, like I don't really have anything to offer.
Okay,
they're fighting a maze in Harry Potter. Okay, so I'm just saying, if they could get killed off in Harry Potter in a maze.
He was fighting wizards, though.
Vikki,
that was pretty major.
I'm not afraid of a corn maze.
Thank you, Vikki.
It's not the corn maze. It's the neighborhood where the corn maze may
be. Wait, you mean the sundown communities that they reside in?
Look, if I'm driving to the corn maze and I see a bunch of Confederate flags, I'm turning around.
Fair enough.
You mean Trump flags? Or as what I like to see, I don't see Confederate flags anymore. They've been replaced with FJB or Go Brandon flags.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fun.
Brilliant marketing.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go to a culture story. We were talking about this, I think, just before everybody joined in, but big film has come out. I know almost nothing about it. I just saw the trailer, but I know, Vikki, you want to discuss it. The Woman King, starring Viola Davis. Do I have it right?
You do.
And it's a huge hit. And a lot of people were saying, see, you can make an all-black person film and it can kill at the box office. Made a lot of money, a lot of success. So that's awesome. But what do we think of this film and of the casting? Did Viola Davis, I don't know anything about it, but it feels like she really, there's a very specific, unique part for her.
It's what I've heard. I haven't seen it. So let me fess up. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But just in hearing some things, watching some clips, watching her interviews. What podcast did I listen to that was talking about it? But it was somebody that were talking about it and a little bit of the history and how, it's not a biography. So there are some liberties taken with the stories, but that happens with these kinds of movies. But I'm going to focus solely on my girl, Viola Davis, because she's 56 years old. And let me tell you something. If I could have that body,
you would run through leaves.
Is she 56?
Yeah, she's 56.
Because I was thinking just to think about Maverick and that Tom Cruise is 59 and he's still doing all that stuff, or Brad Pitt at 57 or 58.
He should stop drinking.
Who, Brad?
Oh God, he look a hot mess.
He's a little rough around the edges for sure. On. But
he needs moisturizer. So
he does need moisturizer.
You should probably
and water.
Wash a little more and then
probably.
Shea butter.
It was good, but the action scenes were not as. I'm not even talking in the mic.
Oh, wait a minute. You were talking about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Okay.
And Brad Pitt.
Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt as well. They're doing all those like action scenes and fight scenes and things.
Older white male actors.
Yes. And you can even add in Denzel Washington when he would do The Equalizer and things like that. Where action, fisticuffs and all that good stuff. Yes. Yeah. But some of those scenes are filmed where the camera's looking at their hands, or it's really up close. So you don't really get to see the hand-to-hand combat as well. But thinking about Viola Davis, Vikki, you saw it, right?
Yes.
So you could feel that she was doing these moves and it looked good. And she was like delivering upon the product. She was kicking ass, taking names.
She was kicking butt. It was amazing. The sheer physicality of that role was just amazing to watch. The kind of punishment, not only she, but the other women who were in the cast put themselves through. It was just amazing. And then if you watch any of the reels of of them talking about it and all the training that they had to go through to get ready for this role, it was just amazing to watch. It was just fun in a way. You know, it's kind of like the myth of King Arthur. So you're not going to it to get a historical prism, really. You're just going to get, it's for the entertainment of it, but to watch the way number one, she's probably the greatest actor on the planet right now.
Wow.
Just from her skill set, just from the way she can convey a character. But everybody in that movie was amazing. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
I would like to see her comedic chops, though.
I think she did an episode of didn't she do Saturday Night Live?
Did she?
I don't think so.
Well, was it murder? Was it
How to Murder Your How to Get Away with It? Yeah, How to Get Away with Murder.
I thought that was a comedy.
That was not a comedy.
No.
Trivia.
Funny though.
Trivia. She's from Rhode Island. So
hey.
We're probably cousins.
So now we got 3.
Kimberly, don't do that. There's 5. I've got a brother and 2 parents.
There's 5.
Yeah, get it right. Make yourself accurately.
I'm sorry. I can talk because I'm in Peoria now. But here's the thing. The director, a female director.
Yeah.
I mean, my first interaction with her was my favorite movie of all time as a young woman, adult, which was Love and Basketball.
Gina Prince Bythewood wrote and directed Love and Basketball.
Makes me so upset. I get so upset at that movie.
Why?
Because
he sucks.
He was the worst, and she gave in to him. He was treating her like trash the whole time.
All right, we're getting very inside Omar Epps.
Okay, all right, sorry.
The fact is that Sanaa Lathan, who will never play any type of sport person again, did not know how to play basketball. Absolutely did not know. But she made me believe and rooted for her, even though...
Okay, can we get back to the Woman King?
But, okay, again, Pete...
Talk about Love and Basketball. The movie came out in 2000.
Okay, but you don't understand, Pete. It's just like y'all in your movies, like whatever movie it is that you keep talking about that is from like 1960s that y'all can't let go.
Shawshank Redemption.
And I
was like 93 or something, but
Stand By Me.
Sports, so I mean, the Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball was very relatable.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big.
It was a great movie. It was. I mean, it's great. So thank you for giving us that.
Poorly though, because he was a motherfucker.
He was terrible then. When I was watching, I was like, she better not. And then she did.
What about
she did at the end? And then
you ruined it for Pete. He will not be surprised at the end. So
I saw it.
You can still watch Brown Sugar.
Yeah. How about? But is there any significance? Is there a question or something to be said about all these women fighting in movies now? This is almost predominantly women, and also black women. Oh, and older black women fighting. Like I feel like we haven't seen this kind of film, and we are now, and it's great for a lot of different reasons. But how do you feel about this kind of a movie with women and these kind of violent roles?
What? That's not fair. I just feel like...
Say that again?
That makes no sense.
Films have always been historically starring, mostly men fighting, and male lead, are usually the ones committing most of the violence, and women are more likely the victims and so on. But now, I don't know much about the history here, but like the Marvel films obviously had a lot of female superheroes fighting, and now a movie like this and, Wonder Woman, I don't know. I feel like it seems like it's very empowering, but.
Did you not see Black Panther? I mean, there was a whole women war. I mean, women warriors have always been there and has not.
But they haven't been celebrated in film. That's the point.
I don't know if it's a celebration, but at the end of the day,
Mulan gave you a little piece of it.
But I would say that they haven't been like the driver of the film. So this is unique in that situation. But it's like, let somebody make the movie and they'll come. Like everyone says that black female warrior movie's not going to make it. And look at what it's done thus far. It's like, you can't just assume that we can't carry a movie. And we had somebody stellar of the same gender make the movie, which just makes it that much sweeter.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I didn't know about the director.
Yeah, man.
She did.
Well, I didn't even know that much about the film. I didn't even know, like, this is one of these, it was not anywhere on my radar until it came out. I didn't know about it in pre-production or anything like that. So
I saw that trailer and I was like,
yeah,
same.
So, all right, that's the, what else is there anything to be said about politics or news? Any stories that you're watching?
I have to say, I have been really not paying attention to politics, and I have to thank 45 for re-engaging me into caring for a couple of days, because the best shit interview that he gave Sean Hannity was the funniest comedic thing. I mean, it's funny because he's no longer in the power or authority to do something that can cause harm. He's already caused enough harm that's going to be generational. However, to listen to this idiot keep talking, and then I'm like, one day, all this accumulation of you opening your mouth and saying stupid shit is going to allow for someone to indict your ass legitimately and see you on your way to the merry clunker, or, you know, at least get to a point where you can't do business anywhere unless it's like under the table. The stuff that this man has gotten away with, and his dumbass does not realize he does not have the same protections anymore. Now you talk about white male privilege. Not only is he a white male privilege, you know, in that way, but he's a narcissist to the point that he doesn't even understand that he's just allowing evidence to be collected on him every time he opens his mouth.
In that interview with Hannity, that's where he said, I could declassify documents just by thinking about them. And
he said, I took them all. You take them to Mar-a-Lago. So him saying that
in other places,
other places.
Like, are you like what? Like, stop writing stuff down. Stop talking. You're supposed to be like a little like slick and stuff when you're a criminal.
He doesn't act like Bush. And you know how Bush went into the cut and disappeared and started
painting.
Right. I am under the radar. I caused a 20-year war, but I ain't saying no.
And now he's light again.
Yeah. But see, there was this documentary on HBO from the Jinx Killer. And at the end of the movie, they're going through everything. And then they're talking to him and he's like, yeah, but I did it. And then just based off of him saying that, that's what got him the guilty sentence. And he's dead now, though. But I'm like, Trump does this stuff over and over and over again. Why are we not getting him for every time that he pretty much indicts himself?
But he is getting got. That's the thing.
I think he's getting got right now.
Peace, though.
I think
it's slow. Okay. I think it's slow in the works. Like, I'm not.
What do you need to see?
Afraid. He just pretty much said, pretty much his son Eric is going to jail, he's going, because pretty much Eric has been like behind the scenes signing off on stuff on his father's behalf, because he's going to protect Ivanka and, you know, baby Trump Jr., you know,
he's looking bad these days.
Did you see?
He's always.
You see JL's latest video impersonating Don Jr.? It's just his face is covered in cocaine in the video. It's like ridiculous amount of like just
allegedly.
Well, Bill Boyle is like on today's show. He's like, he doesn't think it's that far fetched that the Trump family ends up in life in Saudi Arabia in exile.
I don't want that for him. I want him to actually go to jail. I want him to be
in Saudi Arabia.
I think your expectations are just way too high. And I don't know if I'm the wet blanket in this whole situation. I just believe that there are a number of people who will fall on any sword to protect them, as evidenced by the number of Republicans who are not standing up and saying this is how bad he is. They're still carrying water for this guy. And there are still judges he set in place that are dumber than the loose cannon, which I really like that a lot, than the loose cannon. But there are guys that are beholden to him. And because they're going to do their best to protect him. I do not believe there is a thing in this country called justice. I do not. It just absolutely does not exist.
Justice for all?
If you are wealthy, justice is whatever you shape it to be.
So I would say that the New York courts and what's going there is civil. It's not criminal. So it's not about going to jail. It's about his ability to do business in New York for a time period.
Yeah. Which
I think is important. And it's just as much, I think, as justice as anything else for those people who had to be victimized by him in the state of New York. The harm is done. I mean, here's the thing. He has destabilized this country to the point where we are going to take a generation for us to repair this country and heal this country. And hopefully, if that's possible, have some type of reconciliation in this country. The divisiveness is there, and it's transitioned into the local levels of government.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be any justice to repair that. But I think what justice I'm looking for is to at least show that no one's that invincible. And even if it's a slap on the wrist, it would never be a slap. It wouldn't have been a slap on the wrist if this was happening in the 60s. No one would have ever known any of this was occurring. It's a step in the right direction. We do have ability to say we do think character is important. And I was listening to a podcast this week, and it was the New York Times, and they were just talking about how this has impacted the evangelical community of evangelical, like how they stopped really looking at people that they serve outside of their own scope of who it's in their church. And so that's him, right? Like that ideology is really Trump ideology of narcissism.
Yeah, it's a real
that has infiltrated a lot of areas. Yeah. So anyway, getting into the weeds.
What do you think of there's two black women who are attorneys general. See what I did? I nailed it. Attorneys general. And Tish James is the one. I forget the name, the woman in Georgia, but
Bonnie Willis.
Yeah, so they both got him by the gonads, I think. And when Tish James came out last week at the press conference and said the word astounding, and she hit the G, to me it was like she landed a pirouette. Like as a performer, she hit that G so hard that it felt like the Trump family's skeleton shook because she had him. She said it was astounding. I was like, who hits the G? She does. And she meant it, and it was wonderful. And I don't know. I like the symbolism of this. He's been such an unbelievable, horrible person to women and people of color, and of course to women of color. The idea that it's going to be a woman of color, or maybe two, bring them to justice. But you guys, I want to know what you think, if you think anything at all about that.
They bad. But I mean, here's the thing. It just so happens that they are black attorneys general. I mean, all the evidence is there, and it's finally the environment where people are like, yo, he can't just run through life. He can't run amok. So this unprecedented time kind of forced their hand. And you know what? I'll say this, as black women, like in a position like that, you can't back down. You can't, like, it's against who you are. You know, we've been taught, whether it's healthy or not, that you've got to be the best, but they're also doing their job.
Well, I don't know if it just so happens that it's a black woman. It's only recently.
But they're in that position, is what I mean. But let me just so happens to be.
Let me just white man explain, and then get your
explain it.
White male explain it. Which is, it's only just recently when black women have been in these types of positions to be the attorney general of the entire state or lead investigator, and also when men were in charge, especially white men. Don't you think a lot of times they looked the other way? It just didn't, whether it's bias or whatever else, it's kind of a club. And so to some extent, sometimes you need somebody who's not of your tribe to take you down because everybody else is looking out for each other.
Diversity is different lenses, different personalities, different philosophies.
Yeah.
So when I said just so happens, it wasn't by luck that they were there, but I'm just saying it's the alignment of the stars.
If it were women that were another race, would this be a talking point?
No,
probably not.
Yeah,
it would be. It would be normal. It would be the rest of our country's history, I would think, for the most part. That's why I don't know. It's always interesting to gender dynamic alone when it comes to positions of power, how women deal with things in both the private and public sector. I mean, it's
looked at differently. We can't say the things. But you know what? They are using their platform for the number one, the purpose of which it was intended. So thank God for that. But it's just another story, honestly, of us doing our thing.
All right.
Helping save this world.
Let's end with something ridiculous, but hopefully extremely divisive.
No, we didn't talk about Brett Favre.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that idiot.
Oh, all right. I don't really know. I mean, I know that it looks like
you don't need to know anything. We could tell.
It looks like he defrauded the poor people, lower income people of Mississippi for his own gain.
Than that.
It's worse.
Okay, what do we got? Go ahead. I never would have submitted Brett Favre for a topic.
So can I just say my problem with this whole thing is we heard about Mike Vick ad nauseum. There were exposés. There were PETA going after him. There was, every time you turned on the news, they were talking about Mike Vick this, Mike Vick that. It went on for years and years and years. And even after he served his time, there were people protesting outside saying, no, he shouldn't play again, saying, no, he shouldn't be forgiven for something that he paid the price for it. Financially, he paid the price for it, physically with his body. And you have to search far and wide for it even to be a national story about the millions of dollars that Brett Favre and his team of friends stole from the state of Mississippi.
There's a simultaneous story going on now. We don't even have to go back to
right. Mike I don't even want to mention him because that's just
that's something
such a non-story.
Well, Michael Vick,
but it was such a big story.
Michael Vick raised dogs and had them fight. And he went to jail for it. He went to jail. His body was imprisoned. And the argument that you're making is the victims there were dogs. And in this case, Brett Favre stole millions and millions of dollars, and the victims were lower income folks who were rightfully due this money for their own welfare in life. It doesn't seem. And then also people are making
about talking about dogs, though.
Use prison labor.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the dogs. So
because we can get stabbed for talking about dogs.
Brett Favre, y'all, but a sprinkle on the Sunday. He wanted to use. He suggested and put it in a text message to say we should use prison labor to build this facility.
Can I just say,
he also sent his ding dong on a text too, right?
That was before.
Listen.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's obviously his way to send information.
Colin Kaepernick was blacklisted
still
from his profession because he took a stand for social justice. This man, Copperfit, I'm going to call it out because they need to be called out too, said, "Oh, we stand by Brett Favre. We've known this man. He's Copperfit." You know what they said? They put out a statement and said he has always acted honorably.
Wait, is that a company?
We know him to be a very decent man.
Oh, Copperfit.
Copperfit. You know what the compression sounds?
Yeah, I thought you were referencing
carpet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting all excited. Copperfit said this yesterday.
I'm looking up. I am looking up this.
He has been cleared of any wrongdoing for 2 years, from 2 years ago. And we are confident that he will be, in this case, in the civil suit. They have literally Copperfit. They have literally said, we're standing by this man, regardless of what he said. And no, I'm not saying copper.
I swear to God, if you say carpet fit, I cannot find this carpet.
Copper.
I'm looking. I Googled, because he's from Green Bay or he played there. I Googled Green Bay carpet store Brett Favre. Still couldn't find it.
Google didn't do anything for you.
He's wrong. I didn't Google anything. I just asked you to repeat it.
I'm sorry, Copperfit. You know what?
You know what?
There's an R in that copper.
Yeah, there's an extra R, boo.
Copperfit.
Copperfit.
I don't know what I'm saying wrong.
Put simply in a tweet, Colin Kaepernick took a knee and Brett Favre took millions of dollars from poor people.
Yep.
Along with his cronies, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
What?
And his wrestling family. Yeah.
Ted DiBiase is
involved in this.
Involved in
this? DiBiases.
There's a list.
Buying condos.
Volleyball stadium for your kid.
Yeah. Like, they were slinging money to all kinds of crazy shit.
What? I mean, it's like you're...
Now, why is everybody...
But you're also going to abuse... Like, you wanted to use prison labor, and let's just talk about like the disparity of the number of people that are Black in the prison system who are getting paid peanuts to do all this labor. Like, F you and your privilege. Like, how dare you? And then you're sending texts like, are people going to find out about this? Like, oh my God. Like, just how much do you not care about anybody else in this world if that's how you're going to roll through life?
Well, they needed
and think you're going to get away with it.
Seems like they needed a new volleyball arena, though. Sounds like he was.
And this,
so let me take milk from a poor kid.
This is Mississippi, where right now they have been dealing with a water crisis for not just the last few months, because people only talk about the recent incident, but Jackson has been dealing with water issues for many years.
Yeah.
Many years.
Yeah, the governor.
And I just want us to be clear. That is who. But you know what? This is what happens when people don't vote. This is what happens when people vote against their own interests because of religious ideology. This is what happens when people are not, enabled to engage in our society in a way that we need them to because of the barriers that we put in front of them to engage. This is what happens.
Can you just allocate that money to anything? Like, I know they're embezzling, but in a situation where there are these water crisis issues, could money from families, poverty...
Right, it's TANF. So no,
TANF.
You have to, federal funding is very clear how you can allocate it. So as it relates to the water crisis, a lot of it is put on local governments to have to continue to support the infrastructure. And if you don't have the money or you don't have the ability to raise, either take a bond out or have raise your water rates to support it, the infrastructure falls on local municipalities, not the state and not the federal government. And there's no city that's older than 100+ years old that doesn't have a water problem. It's just that we've been able to maintain and repair it over time, but it's a cost. And it's not something that should be on us. Water infrastructure should be treated the same way as highway infrastructure, as street infrastructure, but it's not. And if you're a private entity, and so if you're a community and your water source is through a private entity, you still have to pay. The city still pays for that pipeline to get that water to your home. And if that city is not able to afford it and can't afford to take bonds out, can't afford to raise rates or whatnot, then this is the crisis that you're going to continue to see throughout the United States.
And we have seen it in different places.
And they don't have a tax base, right? I mean, the predominance of poverty in that specific community is outrageous.
Yeah.
So all those federal funds that were headed to Mississippi were not allocated to Jackson.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I hate stories like this because it's like you just don't care about Black people. And I mean, it's not like I don't know it. And it's not like this is like me being Pollyanna, but it's just, I hate it.
You think
I hate it.
Here's the thing. It's not only Black people. You don't
exactly.
poor people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
At the end of the day, they don't care about poor people. And then you add the intersectionality of race on top of it. It just compounds the trauma that our Black community continues to have to endure. And you wonder why they don't break
all the time. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are, you know, and I hate to like put people in a scale, but if you're at the top of the food chain or the bottom, like just by being poor or your Blackness in general, just invites this bullshit. And it's a problem now because it wasn't so out in the open. And I don't know, sometimes I'm glad because now I know you put it out there and I know exactly who you are, but it's really, when we talked about Mondays in the beginning, like sometimes on Mondays, it's like, I'm going to have to go deal with somebody that's going to look at me sideways because I happen to be Black in this position that I'm at. And it's like, I don't feel like dealing with it. Like, I'm just out here trying to make a living, make a good, honest living. And somehow, some way in my week, somebody going to act crazy just because they think they can talk down to me. They think they can take something away from me that's mine. They think they can just be horrible people because of the color of my skin.
Pete, you have anything to say?
Yeah.
Rant over.
I have a few nice things to say about the governor of Mississippi, Tate Reeves.
I know you don't. I know you won't do that.
He's about to step all over you, Karen.
Yeah.
All right.
Very hard.
Let's
you can't even do it. You can't even make the joke. But I mean, like, seriously, like, we have talked, you ladies and I, we're friends outside of this. Like, we've talked a lot about things, and I know I grew up in this bubble-ish, and I can't blame my parents. They did the best that they could. And so, you know, some of my learnings happen later in life, and just, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say like I thought life was one way, but as I got out in the world, like, it is a cruel friggin' place out here.
Yeah.
It is cruel. And sometimes you just want to cry because it's like, what else can I do?
Well, that's what the Hue is for.
Well, I appreciate that, Karen. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, like, growing up in a predominantly Black community and then being plucked into a predominantly white community early in my years, you had to learn how to straddle those worlds and still be your authentic self. But I go back to what I said earlier. Blackness is cultural, you know, and I think that's where, you know, I find having this space to talk to you all and Pete is helpful because sometimes we are seen, but we're not seen. And then we come through this conversation and we have a different cultural experience. You have Francis who loves to frolic through the cornfields of random ass mazes. You know, you have Vikki who puts something on her salads that don't make no sense. And then you have
sugar in her grits, chicken, whatever. Then you have Karen who, you know, didn't even know Black people was allowed in Rhode Island. Yeah, you get a little harsh with your criticisms. There was Black people. There was like 10% in my high school.
There was Black person.
Pete, I know you're not going there.
My mic wasn't even on. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, Kim.
All right. Kimberly just turned her camera off. I appreciate what you just said, Kimberly. And part of why I love to just be a fly on the wall, just like toss in a little thing to talk about here and there just to get you guys going and then sit back and watch. It really is interesting. And I know it's interesting to a lot of other people to hear you talk, especially as everybody has their own different point of view and different experience in life. And I think that's part of what we're doing here. So let's end on something very divisive. She's on the phone. what do we want to do? Is it a holiday? We started with some of this. The pumpkin thing was the obvious, and everybody weighed in on that. And decorations, we weighed in on that. I guess I think maybe we'll do bedding. I'm thinking bedding because I got a big boy bed. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh, I thought you said betting.
I did too. And that's why I was I can't talk.
I was like, I don't think you're reading the room,
That's
Peter.
my industry.
Read the room.
Read the room.
I'm thinking because Kimberly, talked about, saving money on heat. You talked about having a hard time controlling. And I'm thinking this is a good time to transition. You're transitioning into different warmer clothes. You're transitioning to, maybe you're sealing your windows. You're doing a lot of things as the cold comes. And I'm wondering when it comes to bedding, because I'm in the market, where are you folks on blankets, electric blankets, and this kind of, do you change the sheets? Do you go flannel in the winter? Is there anything to be said about bedtime preparation as winter comes?
Yes. Now, flannel sheets, it depends, because sometimes you can get a little too hot.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's like a little extra. But you mentioned electric blankets. I don't have one here, but we were electric blanket people in Rhode Island because, of course, you can't put the heat on all the time because then you'll have no money for food. Because it's cold
the
out
electric
there.
blanket is
You put on your electric blanket at night. You wear a sweatshirt during the day. You put your socks on underneath your slippers.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go, I'm going to Rhode Island this weekend. When I stay at my cousin's house and I sleep on their couch, they give me an electric blanket.
Yeah, you like it. So
I love it.
Ladies, the rest of you are where are you on the electric blanket or any other winter time or autumn changes in wardrobe or bedding?
I have a weighted blanket.
You have one of those too.
What is that?
Is that warm?
So
it's good
like
for napping.
It's really heavy, and it feels like you're being hugged all night, but without.
But do you move at night, Vikki?
I do.
So I don't like to sleep with it at night because it's chaotic. But when I cozy up on the couch, and that's usually like you're just kind of out cold for like 20, 30, 40 hours, 60 minutes. I love that for my naps.
Is it true that the way
I like being hugged. If my husband liked hugging me all night, I would be down with that. So but he has a CPAP and he sleeps on his back and
hey, watch it.
It's a lot.
Watch it.
What would happen if
hitting close to home?
Karen's got a CPAP. If Karen slept with your husband,
wow! Why did you have to say it like that?
If Karen,
such emphasis.
If Karen slept next to your husband,
we're gonna edit that out.
No, he's not. He's gonna leave it right.
Tubes. Can you imagine if
tubes everywhere?
Two people would see.
It's one tube.
Well, I have a weighted blanket, and I also have a body pillow.
Oh yeah,
and so I do change my comforter in the wintertime. So I have like a spring comforter blanket, and in the wintertime I'll have a blanket and a comforter that lays on top. And as my family, we didn't turn on the heat and we didn't have a blanket, a warming blanket. My mom would just tell me, get on the cover. She's like, go to sleep. If you cold, she's like, if you cold, go to sleep. Put some clothes on, go to sleep.
That can be miserable.
I grew up in that household.
Your mom's solution to escape the cold was to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Because if you go to sleep, cover up and go to sleep.
Cover up and go to sleep.
Yeah. About right.
That's to me.
All right.
All right. Well, a lot of good ideas.
Do you have an electric blanket, Pete?
The girls have them, and I think I might get one because last year I slept a lot of nights very cold, and I'm a grown man. I'm an adult.
You don't have to.
Shouldn't be cold in the night.
Now, do you have do you have those footy pajamas?
Yes.
You have a onesie?
Sweating them joints.
You have a onesie?
I have a whole one piece, and it just has a window that opens so I can go to the bathroom.
Didn't you have a body pillow too, right?
Yes, I have to have a body pillow. I have to have something between my knees can't touch, and I sleep on my side.
I love that about you.
Yeah.
And Francis, Vikki, the fact that you know this much information about his sleeping pattern.
But I know it too.
Okay,
so that just tells everybody. That's what it is.
Yeah, Pete's an open book. It's not like
it's like, don't judge me, but I do.
Kimberly,
this. And it's like, you know, you're getting judged.
I listen to Pete every word he says, and then I throw it right back.
To be fair, it is one of the first things you find out about me when I introduce. If you want to know if I sleep with a pillow between my legs, just say, "Hey, Pete." I'll tell you.
Did you buy a mattress?
Here's the thing: my body pillow. Yeah, I got a full size mattress. My body pillow, I can't
full
find.
Size.
I need I'm a full man.
What, you mean a queen size?
No, I didn't. I don't have. My room's not big enough for a queen size.
Is it in that place? Is it?
No, this is my shed.
Is this your bedroom?
I'm in my shed.
You sleep in the shed now?
In my shed, I have a tractor trailer like sleeper mattress, like a little mattress. Okay. I sometimes sleep here. Yeah.
Okay, but before you continue, I still want to find out Francis' practice for winter. What do you have on your bed?
I am a down comforter gal, like the super thick down comforter, but the boyfriend is too hot for that. So then I had to downgrade to a thinner one, but then that's too hot. And then now I've just got like a thin situation.
Maybe get a Snuggie so you can be warm.
Absolutely. Sweatshirt, Snuggie.
Maybe also there's something
parka.
For lounging on the weekends, I do have it doesn't have feet on it, but the Fenty onesie. If you ever want something like lounge wear.
Hold on. That's Rihanna? She's making onesies too?
Her clothing.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah. So it's got a hood. It's like a sweatsuit with a zipper. It doesn't have feet in it, but to lounge around on a Sunday.
That's legit, because my house is
legit.
Negative degrees.
Yeah.
They made this thing out of like tissue paper.
My house is wonderful.
Well, that's good. That makes one of us.
No, you'll get a nosebleed over here with the heat. It's included in my condo fees.
We're very cold for 6 months.
So
yeah, that's a long time.
We're very cold. We have a lot of crevices. I got to get that. I got to seal some things up.
I hate sealing the windows.
Yeah, I
don't know how to seal.
But I have to do that, and you can hear it like sucking the air in, and like.
I mean, like my front door is got hole. Like I have
to put one of those things in the bottom.
Yeah, that weird little tubey thing.
It opens to a hallway.
Yeah, that's a door snake.
Yeah, door snake. I've got one of those too.
I just made that up.
Okay.
Yep.
That wasn't as controversial, Peter. We needed a like.
Yeah, I don't know. I came up short on that.
Controversy.
Go ahead.
Go, Vic.
I put sugar on my rice too.
Oh God!
All right, folks.
No.
Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
Here we go.
Thank you. It's been unbelievable. Just what a criminal.
What's wrong with you? You got sugar addiction.
Should be arrested.
You got diabetes? Like, what is happening?
Should be
rice.
Sugar on rice.
When you have sugar, when you have a grain for breakfast, you have sugar on it.
Okay, folks.
Breakfast rice?
You have breakfast rice, yes.
All right.
Bacon and breakfast rice.
Bacon and breakfast rice. That's where we will end today's conversation. You want to end on a laugh, and it wasn't going to get... How could it get better than breakfast rice? # breakfast rice. Go copy them on Twitter. You can find out more about Vikki, Karen, Francis, and Kimberly at the show notes for today's show. I hope to see you tonight at the Hangout from 8 to 10 East. If you're not a subscriber, then you can't hang out. But if you are, you can. It's as simple as that. Sign up now, standupwithpete.com. Welcome to all new folks. If you've never joined us, maybe tonight is your night because we're doing it on a Friday. Normally we do them on Thursday. I hope to see you there. Thank you for a great week, your support. I can't do the show without you, and I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of really exciting conversations with great guests next week. Because if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. I don't know why I said that. I just always wanted to say that. I love you guys. Have a great weekend.
When the tyrants taunt you and the sirens teach you, better stand up. Stand up. Let the brave meet the challenge. Let the meek weak flee. Oh, you better stand up.